has been 18 years since the financial stocks and subprime mortgaged real estate bond market crash in 2008. But in his book, The Big Short, which was adapted into a movie, author Michael Lewis breathtakingly captures the underlying mortgage-backed security subprime real estate story, which triggered the financial markets to crash. But the real heartbreaking story of the 2008 crash is that ordinary people lost their homes.
4 million Americans lost their homes, and another 4.5 million fell into foreclosure or mortgage arrears.
Because the housing market collapsed. But what is the likelihood that another financial crash of a different nature could be triggered during President Trump's reign in the White House? Because President Trump's ongoing war of aggression against Iran, started by the Israelis, potentially threatens the global economy. But the war may continue to the extent that it spooks the financial markets' uncertainty and volatility in ways one could never imagine possible. In his book, The Road to Ruin, author James Rickards captures the rise and fall of the financial markets and its resurgence. But Rickards' main storyline is that not much was fundamentally and structurally fixed after 2008 to prevent another devastating financial market crash, because the government bailed out those who were too big to fail, like the banks. The United States government did not rescue the small mortgaged bond holder, but saving only the big banking institutions, fearing that its collapse could trigger a crash of the broader economy. But Rickards documents the speculative financial trading and trades, which have become an integral part of the financial market's volatility, risks, and instability. But the financial market crash like 2008 has become an unpredictable part of the cyclical nature of the bonds and stock markets. Therefore, another crash would not be an anomaly, but in 2028, it will be 20 years since the stock market crash, when the next US presidential elections take place in November of that year. But will President Trump's war with Iran trigger a financial crash should he fails to find an exit or off-ramp strategy to end it sooner rather than later, or not at all? There are those investors who arrogantly boast that the financial markets are as strong as ever, and signs of it crashing is mere fantasy. But leading up to the financial crash in 2008, there was such similar unshaken widespread investor confidence in the financial markets, believing it was strong, invincible, and crash-proof. But when such a financial crash potentially happens during Trump's presidential term or later, it will not be an unusual occurrence or a black swan event as famously depicted by author Nicholas Taleb when it does happen or when it does occur.